Yes, people. This is our first time going live. See if we'll get many people in the room. So I've just done a podcast with Kev Lane, and I've got a bit spare time, so we'll see if many people join the live to have a little bit of a discussion about it. And also, you can ask us some questions, and we'll talk about what you viewers would like to see from my channel. But I'll just wait a bit to see if anyone comes in. I've got one person in the room up till now. Wait a couple of minutes to see if anyone else comes in. Like I say, a first time going live, so we'll see how it goes. I know it's a bit of a funny time, 4:20 on a Saturday afternoon, but we'll see how it goes, see if many people come in, but you can ask us questions if you want. I think it should pop up here. If anyone's got any questions, fire away. Right, I've just done a podcast here with Kevin Lane, and we've mostly been talking about the Charles Bronson documentary. Kev's been giving us a little bit take on what he thinks about it, because Kev is friends with Charles, or Charlie Bronson, should we call him? And Kev's done a lot of block. He's been around the blocks with Charlie. Oh, here we go. So I've got a question in. Who was the hardest lad you've seen actually fight? Well, I've seen quite a few fights, obviously, whilst I was in prison. But the hardest lad that I've seen fight. I can't really say the hardest lad that I've seen fight, but will say some of the hardest lads that I come across. And one of them is who I've just done the podcast with, who was Kevin Lane. Although he's a nice chap, he was a hard bastard. I will do, mate. Charlie's public parole hearing, but even though it's a public parole hearing, I don't think any of us public will be able to just like tune in and watch it live as it's happening. I think it'll be recorded, and it will probably at some point be put on the TV, but I don't think you'll be able to just tune into it. Jim F, nice one, mate. Leroy Inc, Salvador Marley, thanks for your continuing support, everyone. I've seen I know a lot of you comment a lot of the time. But hope you are enjoying the channel. I'm trying to do a few different things, not just focusing on the same thing like podcasts, because I know sometimes they can become monotonous, and a lot of them could be a lot of the same sort of topics. So I am doing a few different things like whole life sentences, paroles, just talking about a few different topics. But my podcasts are mostly for obviously ex-prisoners and talking about reform. JB. Now, Ray J, how we doing? Well done, Jay. A nice one for getting me book. But any of yous that haven't got me book, like Jay's just saying there, he's recently purchased me book. He's doing the exercises. He's exercising more, and he's now doing a charity walk to raise money. So well done, mate. Keep at it. It's what it's all about, helping other people and making you feel good about yourself. Because what's the point in just sitting around, even though you might be doing well for yourself, but if you've got the capability of helping other people, even like Jay's doing there, just a charity walk, every little helps. It's nice to give something back. But the podcast that I've just done with Kev there, it's a bit different. It's not just like your normal podcast talking about Kev's past, his upbringing, where he was born. We will be doing that at some point because Kev's got a fascinating story. But we've just been talking for a good hour and a half. Wait, maybe it's about an hour and 15 minutes, I see there, me and Kev. So I'll get that. I need to edit it a bit because there was quite a lot of glitching in it. But I'll get that edited down and hopefully I'll try and get it on for tomorrow because I know Sunday is a good day to put podcasts on because a lot of people are chilling on a Sunday, relaxing at home, got all day to watch them. So try and get it on then. But like I say, first time going live, there's not many people on it at the moment, but that's because it's a busy time Saturday afternoon. Everyone's out doing things. A lot of people sitting in the bar, getting pissed, doing whatever. But any more questions, people? Is there anything you would like me to cover on me on this show? But Kev, when he was talking about Bronson, he's talking a lot of facts because Kev has got a lot more knowledge than me about Charles Bronson. Like I've just mentioned, he's pals with him. Big chubby rubberneck, how are you doing, pal? I'm okay. If anyone else wants to shout out, get your names in the comments. Salvador Morley. Do you ever watch any of the American crime YouTubers like Sammy the Bull or Larry Lawton? Yeah, the only ones that I watch is which one? Lockdown 23-1. He's got a good podcast. I've done a couple of interviews with him actually. If you go onto my community page and scroll down, you'll see that you'll see the community page. You'll see the podcast that I've done him. Glenn Busby. Check the headline. It says first time live. That's because it's my first time live, so I didn't know what to put in the headline, so I just put that in, mate. Gerard Donaghy, when cops end up inside. When coppers end up inside, they don't come onto normal location. They go onto protection. And that's for the simple fact that in case they bump into somebody that they've put in prison. And as you can imagine, prisoners don't like coppers, especially the ones that have put them in there. So they'll come unstuck at some point. So coppers go on protection in prison. Oh, it says fist instead of first. All right, cheers, pal. I'll kind of change it at the minute whilst I'm live. I don't think I'll do it at the end. But yeah, nice one for that. Trey Jarvis, how you doing, pal? Yeah. Have you been on Billy Moore's podcast yet? Billy Moore's podcast was one of the first ones that I went on, mate. I'm not sure if I put his on my community page because see what happens on this YouTube. If you go to your community page, you can flick down it and there's all the stuff that I've put on there and I've put all my podcasts on with people. But Billy Moore, mate, he was one of the first ones I've done with, fucking cracking bloke. He's coming onto my podcast soon. We've been speaking, interact with him now and again. He's a good bloke, really good stuff. I like his Joe as well. He's his brother Joe. Lovely lad. I will definitely do another podcast with Billy, mate. Bopper, message retracted, it says on here. Don't know what you put on, mate. But Bobby Sutherland, oi, mate. How's it doing? How's it going, sorry? I'm doing well, mate. Just done a podcast with Kev Lane. I'm going to be dropping it tomorrow, hopefully. Just get it try and get it edited tonight if I get time. But it's a good watch. It's a bit different. And the topic of it is Charles Bronson and his upcoming parole hearing on Monday. Nice one, Trey. Give it a look, mate. I might put it on my community page again so you can all see it, but you can tell when I've done it because I didn't have my YouTube channel up and running when I done it with Billy. And you can tell when I'm talking like I was a bit, not nervous, but like a bit new to it. So when you're first new to doing podcasts and stuff, I was actually a bit nervous on the way down to Liverpool, because I went down to Liverpool to do it. And I was actually a bit nervous on my way down to do the podcast. But now I'm interviewing podcast guests and it just comes natural to us now. I didn't feel nervous at all. Obviously, as you can see, I'm sitting talking away to me YouTube live here as if I'm talking to me pal. Bobby Sutherland, nice one, mate. Are you into football, support Newcastle? I don't really follow football, but I do support Newcastle because I was born in Newcastle. I lived in Elsick until I was about 5. Then I moved over to Stanley, where I'm at now. But everyone in my family, like my dad, my brothers, even my father-in-law, my son, they're all into Newcastle. They all love it. They watch it all the time. But I've never really been into it, mate, to be honest. Dustin Robinson, yes, it's definitely about time he's released, mate. But Kev gives a good insight into it because we've both said, and I said to Kev on the podcast about Charlie, I said, like, a lot of the viewers and a lot of people out here who haven't got a clue about prison and they like listening to prison stuff and that, they're thinking that Charlie might actually get out. But believe you me, he won't. He's in a Cat A unit, in a high security Cat A unit. So Kevin says he might go to Warren Hill, actually, which is a Cat C prison. This is what Kev's hoping for. Go to a Cat C prison / Cat D, where you can get released from there. That would be a good move for Charlie. Hopefully something like that happens. Do older prisoners get bullied in prison, or are they left alone compared to the younger fellas? To be honest with you, they get on all right, but I've seen it in Franklin. Some of the older fellas were bullied off the younger fellas and they were actually testing them because I remember at the time when I was in there, you could still smoke. And if the older fellas smoked and some of the younger lads didn't have money sent in or they never worked in prison and they didn't have enough money for tobacco backy, they would try and get it off the older fellas. And sometimes if the older fellas didn't stand the ground and say, listen, you're not getting any, fuck off, because that's how firm you've got to be in prison. Listen, you're not getting anything off us, go on, fuck off. And that's how firm you've got to be. So some of the older fellas that were like a bit, shall I say, not shy, but a bit too kind. And they would say, yeah, I'll give you some roll-ups. But they would just keep coming back, asking for more things. And they didn't stand up for themselves, just like anyone in prison. You're going to get victimized and bullied. But people like myself and the other prisoners, if they'd seen it going on, that didn't stand for it, you'd go and say, listen, leave him alone. He's an old man, you know what I mean? Trade Jarvis, nice one, mate. I'm not doing too bad, mate. Like you say, I only started, I think it was around about April time last year when I started doing the prison stuff on here. I know my YouTube channel I set up about over a year and a half ago, maybe. But I didn't start putting the prison stuff on until, like I say, April last year, which is not even a year yet. And I'm nearly at 27,000 subscribers. And my channel has actually had over 4 million views since last April, which is massive. I never thought I would ever get that fucking much, but it's done really well. Matt Legg, how we doing, mate? Good to see you. Nice one, Matt, but you're doing really well yourself. Your content is smashing it as well. Your subscribers as well, up over 20,000. But Matt is friends with Kev Lane as well. And if you have keep a watch out, Matt, I've just done a good one there with Kev, talking about Charlie Bronson and a few other topics. We had a good old laugh as well. But Matt is me and Matt has been speaking. If anyone hasn't seen Matt's stuff on his YouTube channel, head over to it, go and give him a subscribe and have a look at it. He's got some great content on. I think he's just done a little bit with Yami B. But I get over to see Matt Legg, ex-boxer. He's got a lot of good content on. Yami B, oi oi. I've just mentioned your name there, mate. Yeah, to Matt, on about Matt Legg. But anyone who's on my channel as well, If you're not already watching Yami's content, I'm sure you will be, because Yami was around doing his prison stuff on YouTube well before me. But Yami's doing good stuff as well. Yami's been in the blocks with fucking Charles as well. And me and Yami's going to do something together soon. I'm going to do a podcast with Yami as well. Can't wait to get Yami on and do a bit chat with him. But like I say, head over to Yami's channel if you haven't already done so. He's got a lot of good content on. He's done a lot of years in the high security estate. He's bumped into everyone who's anybody in the high security prisons. So get over there, give him a follow and a subscribe. Check out his content. But Matt Legg and Yami B's just done something together, so keep an eye out for that. Stephen Walker, great show. Nice one, mate. Thanks a lot. Appreciate the support. But like I say, if you keep a watch out soon, I'll be doing something with Matt Legg and Yami. I would probably get Yami into this live now, but I've just realised how to get this live up. It's the first one I've ever done. But next time I'll get Yami on, we'll have a chat together, which will be interesting. But there's a lot of lads that I've done podcasts with recently and I've been in touch with that were in Franklin at the same time as me. So I'm going to do like a bit of a Zoom call and or maybe even do the live stream on here and get everybody up who's been in that prison, in Franklin prison, even Yami B. Get about 6 of us on and we'll all talk about prison. I think that'll be an interesting podcast for the channel. I don't think anyone's done that before. 6 ex-prisoners from high security estate. Have you done any time in home house or have, Rick, mate? My last sentence that I'd done on my recall was actually in home house, and that's where I wrote my fitness book. It was in 2019. I went in there. I got released from there in 2021. I spent 40 months in there. And home house, a lot of people said to us, what do you think of home house prison? Because up here in the northeast, you've got home house and you've got Northumberland, which used to be Accrington. So when you're in Durham, the local prison, you either go to home house or Northumberland, and then you get the 2 type of prisoners. You get the prisoners that want to go to Northumberland because it's full of drugs, full of phones. And then you get the type of prisoners that want to go to home house and have a quiet time, because home house is quite a quiet prison compared to Northumberland. There's not a lot of drugs in there. There's not many phones, and you can just get on with your time. But that was where I wrote my fitness book. But I wrote the book Behind the Bars, Ruthless Fitness, whilst I was in home house prison. And I wrote that book to help other prisoners. And it's also to help people out here feeling like prisoners trapped in their own thoughts. And it's all about physical and mental fitness training, how to get yourself in a better mindset, both physically and mentally. Stefan Danielson, he's been one of my subscribers for a very long time. Thank you, mate, for your continuing support. A lot of me subscribers, like I say, have been with us from the start, and they continue to support us and they comment all the time. Anything you want. Oh, nice joke there, mate. Telling a couple of jokes there on the comments. But is there any other content you would like us to cover, or any questions you want to ask us? Time are we on now? Probably got about another 5 or 10 minutes before I've got to go and pick my daughter up. So any more people want to come in or have a little chat or anything, let us know. But 80% of my subscribers, I've mentioned this, not subscribers, sorry, viewers are actually not subscribed to my channel. And I don't know if Matt Legg and Yami B, I don't know if views are noticing the same as well. It seems to be, some of my views seem to be down since this YouTube thing came in, where they take some sort of views off you. My revenue seems to be down as well. But I think that's something to do with YouTube. It come through that there was something new that they were doing, and they were taking views off people. I don't know why, but I've noticed that my views are down on some of my videos. I don't know whether it's to do with the algorithm or whether they're taking them off us, but that doesn't matter. My viewers are my subscribers are always there, giving us continuing support, giving us praise and everything. Nothing but love from you all. And like I say in the comments, I try and reply to each and every one of yous. I go out of my way to go through just to like I say, just to give something back. You are there all the time commenting on my videos. If it wasn't for you lot watching them, then I wouldn't have a platform. What happens to foreign prisoners in jail? Do they get deported after jail to their countries of origin? Yes, they do. I've met a couple of them whilst I was in prison. When I was in HMP Durham. I met a couple of lads in there. One of them was an African fella. He was a nice bloke. He couldn't speak much English, but he did try his best. And I was asking him, I asked him that exact question. I said, so what happens when you finish your sentence? Do you get deported back to your country? And the answer is yes. But they get the option where they can finish the sentence and then maybe go to a detention prison waiting for deportation. Or they can do a deal. This lad in Durham that I was in with, he done a deal where he got some time off his sentence to get deported early, but they get transported straight onto the plane, straight back to their country. And that's if they agree to go back early and they get time off the sentence, which a lot of them did, because it just goes to show, even though they're over in this country because they're getting away from their country because it's a bad place or whatever, they get deported. And sorry, I was just looking at the comments there. So it just goes to show what the prisons are actually like when they're fucking willingly wanting to get deported early just to finish the time in the prison system, because the prisons over here are a fucking absolute shithole. I know people are saying the holiday camps, but no one wants to spend time in prison. LC, love from Scotland, nice one. Popper, I watch loads of channels and they say the exact same thing, Ricky. What's that about, mate? About people getting deported? Is that what you mean? Pez, what's happening? Pez, mate, you all right, kidder? Kid Cats, how we doing, kitty cat? All right, big man, happy belated birthday. Cheers, thanks very much. My birthday yesterday. I normally on my birthday I would get, well, years ago when I was in a different state of mind, I would celebrate my birthday, get off my head, but not these days. Different. I'm a changed man now. I'm not like that. Getting off my head and celebrating my birthday for days on end. Had an early night last night. I was asleep by 10 o'clock in the sauna, 10 o'clock this morning. Loving life. Pegasus UK. You went to Woodhill Prison. Woodhill Prison, that's where Charlie's at now. He's in the Cartier unit. Dr. Defy. Oh, cheers, mate. Nice one. Thank you very much, Terry Field. Thanks, everyone. Like I say, when you have a look on my channel and you have a look on me comments, it's very often I get negative comments. And I think obviously that's because I'm straight down the line. There's no hidden agendas. I don't come on here trying to think I'm a big man, big prison up like a lot of people do. There's no shit talking with me. I'm trying to help other people. People reach out to me all the time and I'm here. I'll help anybody. And like I say, there's no negative stuff on my channels. And a bit like Matt Legg, he's the same. He's not very often you get negative comments. That's because the way we present ourselves and where we come across. And people like that. People don't like bullshit. They don't like people coming on here bigging up, talking about prison. I could sit here all day saying, oh, I've done this in prison. I've done that. Prison's this. I'm the hardest in the fucking land and I was one of the biggest on the wing. I could bench press the most in prison. What's the point in coming on doing that? People do that, come on here, and they get griefed because they make the cells look like absolute idiots, where I'm not about that. I'm all about helping people. So, as you can see by the comments, no negative shite. But you're not going to get far in life, are you, by being an arsehole, talking shit, trying to big yourself up. Didn't get us wrong. If you'd seen me, if I was on here when I was in a different mindset, you would have seen a total different side of me. I probably would have been pissed up on here, causing chaos, shouting on and just being an idiot, and people just wouldn't have, they wouldn't have liked that side of us. But that was the old me. This is the new me, and everyone's liking it. So thank you for your continuing support, people. Nice one, Pegasus. Started doing 30s, and just before I was pushing 125. Just goes to show 125k. Is that what you mean? You were benching 125? Yeah, well done for that. Stephen Walker, if Bronson is related, it will become soap opera for him. How do you think he will handle that? Or is released, sorry. I was reading that wrong. If Bronson is released. Well, if you have a look, when you watch the podcast tomorrow, this is exactly what me and Kevin Lane's just been talking about. And he wouldn't handle it well if he was released straight into society and he went back and he was amongst people and it was too much, because everywhere he goes, the press is going to be following him. People's going to be hounding him. He's going to be like a celebrity. Well, he is. He's a prisoner celebrity. Everyone knows him. He's got a film out about him. He's got books out. And it'll be too much for him. But me and Kev's just been talking about it. And Kev is saying, when he goes to places, or if he ever does go to give a speech or a talk, which he will do in the future, he's going to need a little bit of an entourage. He's going to need men around him to like escort him and be there to push people back, because obviously Charles can't do anything like that. If people get in his private space, he can't. Even if he pushes them, it'll be all over the media. He'll get recalled to prison. He's going to have people around him walking with him, just in case people try to bombard him, so they can push them back out the way and keep Charles free and safe from people trying to cause him grief. Don't think Charlie will handle it. He wouldn't. And this is what me and Kev's been talking about. Kev's on about, he's setting something up, Kev, with some other organizations, and he's trying to, or he's going to get him a house out in the countryside, away from everybody. Kev's saying they're going to set him up in this house, so he's got his own free space, so he can do what he wants, and he can adjust himself, and then he can integrate himself back into society, and he can choose his own free will when he wants to go to places like shops, busy places, and then he's got the power of being by himself in this house in the country, or going to shopping places or anywhere like that, where he will be surrounded by people. So that is the plans for him. Gavin Cole, cheers, mate. Nice one for your support. Yeah, they should definitely start helping him rather than caging him. But hopefully, some MPs and politicians might be behind him a little bit. They can see that he's done his time in prison, and these organizations that people are setting up out here to help ex-prisoners might come and intervene and help and get in there, something that Kev is actually setting up as well, and that will help him massively. Well, Kev, it's saying Pegasus, he's saying Bronson needs open conditions. The Cat C prison, Warren Hill, that Kevin was talking about, it's mostly got older prisoners in, or longer term prisoners, and that's be ideal for him. So he's not on like a main location wing, and that'll be the ideal place for him. Definitely a good start for him. Mark Ward, cheers, mate. Nice one. Big love to you as well. Hope you keep him well. N40, hi Ricky, it's great to see you live. Your channel is booming, and quite right, you're a great guy. Nice one for that, mate. Really appreciate it. Nigel Dunn, how we doing, mate? Afternoon. Another one of my subscribers that's been following us for a while with his continuing support. Seen his name pop up in the comments a few times. But yeah. Don Dapper. Funny old name that. You all right, Mush? Happy late. Nice one. Cheers, Don Dapper. Appreciate it. Thanks, Stefan. Cheers, Paddy in the bus lane. Mark Ward, you've been up to much, Ricky? I've been up to all sorts, mate. All sorts of good things and not bad things. Normally, when people used to say that and say you've been up to much, if someone says, "Oh, I've been up to all sorts," you suddenly think, "Oh, he's been up to mischief. He's been up to badness." No, everything I do now is all good stuff. Obviously, I've got my gym. I'm helping people with my mental health group. I'm talking to youngsters in schools, trying to deter them from going down a life of crime. I'm going into changing lives. I've been in a couple of times. I'm going back down on Tuesday, doing talks with the lads in there, the ones that are having a tough time. I'm going in there to show them that it's not the end of the line for them, that they're in that place. And you can't turn your life around and come out and be a better person and have a good life. It's not the end of the line. It's not all doom and gloom. So yes, I'm busy with that, busy helping people in the gym. Got the boxing classes on going in my gym with Sean, the boxing coach, who's doing a brilliant job. And I've also got a fight coming up in 5 weeks' time down at the Fed, D-Day. This is an unlicensed fight, no head guards, 10-ounce gloves, and I'm training flat out for that. So I'm busy as outmark at the minute. Never got a minute to myself. I'm also doing my YouTube channel, trying to get as much content on as possible. And the hard part is actually editing it. Making the videos is relatively easy, but then editing it takes a while because even a 10-minute video sometimes takes up to an hour to edit it, put the start in, cut bits out, and it takes a lot of time. Neville Leach, cheers, mate. Thanks for the support. Stephen Walker, what's it like for a prisoner when he is up for parole and the board refuses his parole? Do prisoners take it on the chin or does it upset them? Obviously, it upsets them, Stephen. It's a terrible position to be in. I've been up on a few parole hearings myself, and I didn't get knocked back on the parole board, but my parole got deferred. So I was due for a parole hearing on my first one, and leading up to it, it's a tough time. It's getting all nervous, getting all worked up, and it's really hard to handle. And my parole got deferred for 6 months, and it felt like it had a knockback. I was gutted. It was only a couple of days before my parole hearing. They come and said, "Yeah, your parole's been put off because we can't all get together on the same day." And they rescheduled it for another 6 months from that. And it was a long 6 months. But getting back to what's it like for a prisoner when he's up for parole and he's been knocked back, it's horrendous, really, because some of the lads that are doing IPP and they've been in for 15 years, they go up for parole here and they're expecting to get at least Cat D, and they get knocked back. One lad that I was in with, he got knocked back for basically defending himself. Someone come and set about him, he's bullying him, got up in his space, and he pushed him. He's turned around and he's punched him, which anybody in prison in that environment has got to do, really. But because he's IPP and the screws have seen it, they've had to do a report, and they've said the lad has hit him back. He's run up for his parole board, and they said, "We're giving you a year knockback because you've used violence." And he was distraught. Some of them turned to drugs. They cannot handle it. And it's, like I say, it's not a nice place to be in. Ryan Croft, definitely, mate. Definitely time to release him. Paddy in the bus lane, yes, definitely good to see positive vibes. That's all it's about on my channel, mate. No negative shite. Mark Ward, yes, my gym is in Stanley, mate. It's opposite Asda. Used to be Stevie's gym. Paddy, when is the podcast? It's hopefully it'll be tomorrow. I'll try and edit it tonight. But what happens is when you edit your video, you then upload it onto YouTube, and sometimes it takes overnight before it uploads. It takes ages to upload videos on YouTube when you've edited it. But yeah, hopefully it'll be on tomorrow. Straight out of Bolia. Nice one, mate. Butter Bing, how's it going? Robert Wellborn. What's IPP actually mean? As I keep hearing it, I'm not sure what fully is. Thanks, buddy. Well, Robert, if you go on to my previous videos, I've got a few videos on the IPP saying what exactly it is. But IPP stands for imprisonment for public protection, and it is a life sentence, a 99-year sentence. You've got to keep yourself out of bother for forever, really. You can't get into any trouble that stays with you for 99 years unless you keep yourself out of trouble for 10 years. The parole board can then abolish it. Not abolish it, sorry, scrap it. The IPP sentence actually got abolished 10 years ago. They no longer give it out. But all the lads and lasses that are on the IPP are stuck with it. Cabana, loving your channel. Keep up the good work. Thanks very much. Wall's End, lad. Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. No, I was never in Wakefield. The only high security prison I've been in is Franklin, which is in the northeast. I've done 5 prisons altogether. I've done Cassington, Durham, Franklin, then Accrington. Then when I went back into Durham. Then I went to Home House. So I've done 5 prisons, all the ones in the northeast, apart from I've never been to a Cat D. Mark Ward, get yourself up, mate. Don't even think about it. Don't think I might go to the gym. Get to the gym. You need to get yourself in a better mindset. I'm telling you, mate, the hardest part is walking through that door. As soon as you get in, mate, you'll feel a whole lot better. So get yourself in, pal. Pegasus, yes, it's a public parole hearing. But that doesn't mean that you can watch it live. What it means is a public parole board hearing is members of the public can gain access to it, not whilst it's happening when it's live, but I don't know if you've been watching lately. There's a documentary on Channel 2 called Parole, and it's a video of the parole board. So there's a video camera videoing it as the parole board is going on, and it'll probably be released at a later date. It doesn't mean like the public can watch it live, ask questions and different things like that. That's what it seems like when it comes across when you see a public parole board here, and you think it's going to be broadcast live, but it's not. It just means it's videoed and the public can get access to it, or will be shown on TV at a later date. Yes, Mark, get yourself in, mate. Your first session's free in the gym. Just come up. I'll show you around. I'll make you feel at home. Banging music. The music's mint. A lot of good lads and lasses in the gym, and it's a friendly atmosphere. So come in, mate. Don't think about it. Just get in. Neville Leach, Ricky, who's the most evil inmate you came in contact with? I've mentioned this before in a couple of my podcasts and videos, and it's got to be, I'll mention 2, but 2 seconds, just check my phone in case my daughter's rang us because I need to go and pick her up soon. I'll mention 2. One of them was David Bieber, the cop killer. I come into contact with him in the gym, and when I was I'm getting confused what I'm saying. When I was in the gym, training, I was training next to David Bieber, and I started talking to him. I knew who he was, but he had this sense of evilness around him just by looking at him. When you looked at him, his eyes, the inside of his eyes were like shark eyes. They were dark black, and there was nothing in him. He just like looks evil. Obviously, he is for what he's done and what he's in for. And the other one, what was the question you said? Who was the most evil inmate? The other one was probably Mac Green, for the simple reason for what he was in for. He was a serial killer. He killed a couple of people, and he disposed of the bodies by chopping them up and putting them in wheelie bins. He was from Wales, and he was serving life without parole. He was on the wing with us, and he looked like Ed Gein. He had a little limp. He looked like he was a funny looking fella. He looked evil. He had a limp, and he looked like someone out of a horror film that you would see limping down the road in the middle of the night after he's just murdered people. And that's what he did actually do. That's what he was in for. He was a horrible man. Scotty P, afternoon, mate. Do I worry about idiots getting to me and affecting my IPP? I used to, but to be honest with you, I don't really go into places where it can affect us. I used to go out and drink in different places, but I don't know, because you could be somewhere pissed up, have a couple of pints, and people could be fighting around you, or people's trying to drag you into a fight. So I don't put myself in them situations. I don't even drink now, to be honest. Every now and again I'll have a drink, but I'll do it when I'm indoors with my wife. So anything like that where it could be a red flag situation, what I call it, I'll just walk away from it, and I don't go around people that I know will cause me aggro. So that's how I handle it, mate. No bother, Mark. Sue Amos. Hi, Sue, and thank you for your continuing support. I know you're always watching my channel and you're commenting on my videos, so thanks a lot. No bother, Neville. You're welcome, mate. Rob D, how are you doing, Rob? Big respect from Concert. Respect back from Stanley, mate. You'll have to pop down sometime. Rob's another one of my subscribers. He's always there commenting, giving us good feedback. So thanks a lot, mate. Nigel Dunn, all the way from I can't see it. Buckinghamshire. Yeah, I'll try not to say that one again because I can't pronounce it properly. But well, if you're ever up this way, mate, just pop in, come and see us, have a chat. Anyone, if any of you are ever up my way, you're free to pop in for a cuppa, have a chat, or come and get one of my books off us. I've always got plenty of my books here in the gym. I'll sign them for people. But remember, people, if you do want a copy of my book, go to me About section and go to my website. My website is Behind the Bars Ruthless Fitness. I've got hoodies on, t-shirts, Ruthless Fitness hoodies, and t-shirts and everything. I've got my book, and if you ever want a signed copy, I'll personally sign it, put a message in, and send it to you. Get in touch, or go and have a look in the description of my videos. I'll try and put a description in this live video, and I'll always put the links in. My book's available to buy on Amazon as well, next day delivery. And I advise you to, if you want to get into fitness and change your mindset, get into it. D. Dixon. It's hard to keep positive when they are the forgotten ones. It is, mate. He's on about the IPPs. The IPP lads and lasses are the forgotten ones. And if a lot of them, it's hard for them because they've got mental health issues. They try to keep their head down in prison, but it's hard. It's an ongoing problem for them. I'm just glad I'm one of the lucky ones that managed to get out and keep my head down whilst I was in there. So D. Dixon, your brother got a 4-year rec. He's done 18 year. So he was 17-year-old when he committed these offences. He robbed 2 taxi drivers whilst he was pissed, probably. 17-year-old. He's been in 18 years. And he's nearly 36-year-old. Where's the justice in that? Is your brother up at Northumberland by any chance? Because I was talking to someone not so long back who was telling us about some lad up at Northumberland who went into prison when he was 17 and he's been in 18 years. It sounds like the same person. Yeah, let us know, D. Riz, hey, Ricky, Paddy Conroy said all the people from your way and Constant are all related. Is that right? Paddy Conroy says a lot of fucking stuff, doesn't he? But us people from over my way, Well, I was from over Newcastle. I was born in Newcastle, so I might be related to Paddy. Tell him that. I'm only joking, but no. People say that because where I'm from, it's surrounded by loads of villages, the Carlos Hillbillies, but just that banter, really. Mark, what do you know, Chad? I'm not from Stanley. I'd never heard of anyone called Chad from Stanley. Just wondered if you knew how Charlie found out he had a son. Well, I forgot to talk about this with Kev. I've got my own. People come up with their own things, but from watching from the outside looking in, he's Charlie's son, George Bambi Salvador, he's called. He, I'm sure he works with a paparazzi, and he was going in and he was on visits with Charlie. And I don't know how it come about, how he thought it was his son, but when you see it on the documentary, he pulled some of his whiskers out of his beard, his tash, and he passed them over and he said, "Get them checked because I think I'm your son." But if you want my opinion, I don't think it's his son. I think they've come up with this story to become friends and they've got something in common and they're just getting it out there and letting everybody. If you watch that documentary, George and Charlie used to come up with stories all the time because he loved being in the press. So with George having something to do with the press from the paparazzi or having links with them, I think they've come up with this story between the two of them to pretend that he's his son so they can come up with all these mad stories and make a lot of money out of the stories they're making and out of the press. Because George will have made a lot of money by saying it's his son, but that's just my opinion. And I forgot to ask Kev that and tell Kev my opinion, see what he said. Got another couple of minutes left, people. I'm going to have to get off because I've got to go and pick my daughter up. Hi, Ricky, can't believe you being around most of the worst of killers. What I can't believe is that you're doing amazing for yourself, still stuck with that nasty IPP. Emma Clark, thank you very much, and thanks for your continuing support as well. Roy Croft, nice one, pal, all the way from Melbourne, Australia. Thank you very much, Ryan. Cheers for your continuing support as well. Yeah, definitely about the money. Something not right with it. A lot of you will probably agree. NFFC, when's the next Warren Slaney story, big fella? I might try and get another video going with another podcast going with Kev Lane and we'll talk about Warren Slaney. But I'll try and get some up next week, mate. What he said, what George said about his son, about his father, sorry, about Bronson in that documentary, he done him no justice at all. But the documentary makers as well, they do hours and hours of videoing and they edit it the way they wanted to, and they've edited that to make him look bad. So when the parole board are watching that, hopefully the parole board won't take too much notice of that because when he's turned around and said, I couldn't say for certain that he wouldn't plunge us up if we had an argument, saying that about his dad, and then his wife saying she wouldn't feel safe with him around the house. Just didn't do him any justice whatsoever. And I bet you any money once Charlie's watched that documentary, he'll have fell out with him over that. Dan and Laura, thank you. Keep up the great work from both of us in Handsworth, Birmingham. Thank you. Big love to Birmingham, Dan and Laura. But anyways, people, I've been on 50 minutes here now. I'm going to have to knock that off because I'm here. I've got to go and pick my daughter up. But thank you all for your continuing support. Stuart Joyce, cheers, mate. I will do more of these lives. This is the first one I've done and I've enjoyed it. It went over really quick. So I'll probably get another one going during the week. So you can ask us a lot more questions then, people. But JR, thank you, mate. I'm going to leave that one there for now, people. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you later, Bopper. Rich Pickens, nice one. Riz, see you all later. Nigel Dunn, Pegasus, nice one. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, people.